Man, I'm feeling a little bit of deja vu here. I swear to goodness gracious, just go back to the previous few weeks' worth of content on this YouTube channel and find the video where we talked about the Edmonton Oilers and how they were connected to not one, but two free agents in the market that had better days in their past. Phil Kessel, formerly of the Arizona Coyotes, and PK Subban. That video will be available somewhere on the sidebar, or if you just decide to search for it. Because this video right here is kind of going over the same topics. Okay, not all the same topics, kind of like 50% of the conversation will be the same topic. Therefore, I don't really think it's all too necessary to have this discussion again. But today we're going over the Edmonton Oilers and something that Gene Principe ended up saying on air that I thought was really interesting to the point that we actually do kind of have to make a video about this. This was said on Oilers Now with Bob Stouffer, and according to this Reddit post, Smith94 Oilers, Gene Principe was also the first one to report on the Lucic and the Neal deal. It might be fun to speculate also Duncan Keith is rumored to get a job with the Oilers in some capacity. This is what he said on the show. Patrick Kane is plan 1 for the Oilers. Phil Kessel is plan 2. Now, I don't really know if it's normally said like that. Oh, plan 1, plan 2. Is it normally just plan A and plan B? I feel like that's a little bit more commonly used phrasing in the English language, but anyways, this appears to be the Edmonton Oilers' plans based off of what Gene Principe had to say on the radio. Patrick Kane, Chicago Blackhawks forward, seems to be the mainstay target for Edmonton, and Phil Kessel, whom we already discussed about in that PK Subban video, is apparently the second target. Now, just to get the rundown on Phil out of the way, because I know a lot of people are like, yeah, no, it's deja vu, do you really need to go out there and, like, explore the conversation a lot more? Phil Kessel does not have the same contract that Patrick Kane does. Kane has a 10.5 AAV deal. It takes until the end of 22-23. Phil Kessel is a free agent, and he's looking for money. 34 years old, he's a guy that went out there and had 52 points in 82 games last season, 8 goals, 44 assists. He was a great playmaker, but he did not score all too many goals. However, the Arizona Coyotes kind of sucked, so it's okay. I mean, the guy also had 20 goals in 56 games played the previous season. So I think it's fair to say that Kessel is a pretty talented player, and if you listen to the rundown of the previous video, it's like, yeah, okay, he could probably do well on an Oilers squad that boasts a very good forward core, but at the same time, I had my issues, I still kind of do, as to whether or not Kessel would thrive in an Oilers-like system playing with a guy like Connor McDavid. Sure, Kessel can skate around the offensive zone like he's got wings, but there was a little bit of a conflict that he experienced in Pittsburgh when it came to him and Malkin because of the way they both like to hold onto the puck, and just the way that Connor McDavid likes to hold onto the puck. I feel like there might be some potential, let's just say, frustrations with the way the team would go out there and do their thing, but at the end of the day, Kessel is still a valuable option. I feel like the fact that he has not signed a contract yet is quite blasphemous in terms of my view of players in the NHL. But the Oilers apparently have Kessel as a Plan B type of player in their sights. The Plan A option is Patrick Kane, and he is one of the best players in the entire NHL. I'd say still, he definitely is up there, and even though he is making 10.5 AAV a season, you have a Chicago Blackhawks team that he's been playing for the past few years that might be willing to hold on to some salary in order to trade him away. We've made a ton of Patrick Kane trade videos the past few weeks over here, so go ahead and check out the entire scoop if you want to see what I have to say about Kane. But when it comes to the Oilers, I definitely do think it would be cool seeing Kane with McDavid, Kane with Draisaitl, Kane with Kane, having a Kane line with somebody else in the middle, Nugent Hopkins. And, yeah, that'd be pretty funny, I think. But at the end of the day, Patrick Kane being the number 1 target for the Oilers does indeed intrigue me because it is a conversation we have had in the past. We made yet another video previously going over Patrick Kane and the potential teams that he could be traded to, and the fact that according to the guys over in the Vegas odds makers list, they had the Oilers, the Rangers, and the Avalanche listed as the top 3 teams with the highest likelihood of getting Kane onto their squads. Now, I get it. The entire reason why the betting odds makers make lists like this is because they want to get people to bet, so they'll go with the hotter topics and come up with the more interesting conclusions that'll get more discussion going along. It's not necessarily a reflection of how real life works, but either way, Patrick Kane and the Oilers is definitely not a new discussion, and just the idea of Patrick Kane playing with Connor McDavid is, yeah, it's terrifying. You talk about the Calgary Flames, who just went out there and acquired Huberdeau, they acquired Kadri, they have Uyghur, they lost out on Tkachuk and Gaudreau, but who cares? You guys have all these really good players. And now you have Edmonton on the other side, getting one of Kane or Kessel because that is their plan A and their plan B. It's kind of funny, because if you go over to the Oilers subreddit and take a look at the post talking about this exact same Jim Principe post, the top comment from Upset Magpie says, is Plan 3 a defenseman? This is seriously one of the few timelines where I can actually say screw fixing the defense. McDavid, Draisaitl, Kane, Hyman, and the Nuge. That's just insanity for any team. Then we have decent complementary pieces, our defense being passable with that forward setup and a decent goalie? We can do it. Tomafro replies, saying we'd be trying to do what the Penguins did in 16 and 17, of passable defending and goaltending with a legendary forward core. I'd be all for it. Now, just a little reminder, Phil Kessel was on that Pittsburgh Penguins squad in 2016-17, and they won 2 cups, so pretty good for them. I actually do kind of agree with this philosophy where it's like, yeah, even though the Oilers are going out there and trying to get more forwards for an already stacked forward core, this is a team that kind of just has the capability of being good enough that their forward core itself can probably win a round or 2 rounds or maybe even 3 rounds because they did that already against Calgary and LA. Now, to be fair, the LA series was a lot more low scoring. You had to have Mike Smith stand on his head. But that Calgary series, my gosh, the amount of goals scored between those 2 teams, and you had Calgary specifically being a squad that a lot of people, myself included, were like, yeah, they're a defensive powerhouse. Tanev, Shillington, Markstrom, you had yourselves what was a defensive showdown in round 1 against Dallas and Jake Ottinger. Yet Edmonton goes out there and blows the doors down. They break the walls down like Chris Jericho. They go out there and they score 4, 5 goals a game. Even that crazy game 1, they scored a ton and they didn't win. That's what you get when you play against a forward core that is as good as the Oilers' forward core was. And now they're trying to add Patrick Kane or Phil Kessel. Kane is the plan A, Kessel's the plan B. Either way, no matter what happens, I feel like the Oilers are going to have a lot to cheer for in the next 12 months or so. And, yeah, if we get a Battle of Alberta Part 2, I'd love to see that. A lot of people, myself included, kind of memed on the Flames after they lost out on Gaudreau and said, hey, Battle of Alberta, we really only had that for 1 season because now Gaudreau's gone and Tkachuk is going to leave too. And then they absolutely redeemed themselves. Brad Treliving did with the Kadri acquisition, Huberdeau, Uyghur, and you still have Mangiapane and Lindholm, like, ay, Alberta. I fear Alberta, baby. Like, I'm here in Vancouver just wanting my team to do something. We can make a video about JT Miller and how the entire Kadri thing affects that conversation, but yeah, I don't know. As a Vancouver Canucks fan, I'm kind of getting a little bit scared because the Flames already improved, the Oilers are looking to improve, and yeah, if my Vancouver Canucks don't show up in the same way they did when they were playing under Travis Green at the beginning of the season last year, then I think it's going to be game over real quickly. But talk to the comments either way, your thoughts about the Oilers and them trying to acquire Patrick Kane and or Phil Kessel, whether or not you feel one is more likely than the other. Do you think there's a Kane trade in store, or do you think they just say, screw it, we'll sign Phil to a whatever amount deal? Heck, do you still think PK Subban could be an option? Because he was linked to the Oilers as well, and we made the video talking about him a few weeks ago. So lots of conversation here when it comes to Edmonton hockey, maybe in response to the Calgary Flames and how they've actually been improving their squad. So Pacific Division hockey fans, I really don't like the spot we're in right now, but I guess all we got to do is sit back, watch, and see what happens, right? So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this Juraj Rolls 99, and bye.